My wife laughs at me a lot because
Yes,
I have a lot of guys that I probably cannot really.
Chairman, my G.
Yeah, they are my G now. They are my chairman. You know.
And you ask well, but what's the name of the person you just greeted? He doesn't know.
My wife.
Hello, beautiful people. You're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deborah Kundari, and it's good to be back on your screen. And I have today my husband is here with me today, and from both of us we're saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Yes, so today we'll be talking about a very important topic, that has blessed our life, that has blessed our marriage, and we are so grateful that we took that decision. So I remember some people don't like, you were asking, why do you have to do this? Or some people even have this perspective that nobody can teach you about marriage and all. But we decided, myself and my husband, before we got married, we decided that this is one of the things we have to do, and we are grateful we took that decision. And it really laid a very good foundation for us. So what's the discussion for today? You would have laid the foundation.
Okay, so we're discussing 10 major things that we really learned from premarital counseling sessions. Special shout out to the entire premarital counseling team of Family Worship Center Abuja in Nigeria, headed by Deacon Emeka Nebu and his wife. And then a very special shout out to our own facilitator, Mr. and Mrs. Afi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
God
you,
bless you.
Sir.
We really appreciate. So in this video, we're going to be sharing 10 major things, 10 amazing things that we really learned from the PMC sessions. It was 6 weeks. How many weeks?
I think it was 8 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks. Eight intense weeks. It was 8 weeks that seemed like 5 years, because the assignment was killing. But
I think we should give a foundation of how the PNC works in our church, in our Family Worship Center.
Yeah.
So it's really like it's a 8 weeks program.
It's an 8-week program. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very intense. Very intense. So in sense that you have classes, it holds on weekends of Saturdays and Sundays, it holds Saturdays and Sunday. Basically, the Saturdays are for stand-up classes where topics will be taught and discussed. Then the Sunday classes are with assigned facilitators.
So these are people that they are couples, and
they've been trained
and they have
good testimony
as well. They have a good marriage, of a good home.
Yeah. So they sort of mentor the group of 2 or 3 about to wed, to put the foundations with loads of assignments and all of that. It was very intense and very challenging for us. As a matter of fact, some of our extended families even complained about it, because it was really time demanding.
And we had to cancel some plans that affected
we couldn't travel to Lagos for some family functions. She was always busy, and we were always together, doing assignments. but trust me, those things
Yeah,
really,
we were
really
able
paid
to
off.
settle a lot of things.
A lot
That
of matters.
a lot of matters.
You
Yeah.
know, and sometimes when we see marriages go through some things today, we sometimes we feel like how did they run their relationship if they never even talked
Yeah,
about all
and then
of
some
a
people
lot of
even
these
say
things.
that so this video, one of the aims is to let people know that even some people will say, oh, you can't learn about marriage, when you get there, but you will know what to do. But the thing is that there's no perfect,
Formula,
there's no formula to
formula.
run a good marriage.
Yeah,
There's no formula to run a good marriage, but there are some things that when you put in place, it will help you, it will give you an edge, so that you
yeah,
just don't go there unknown, or you
yeah,
just get into it, and then
yeah,
that's when you now start stepping on each other's
yeah,
toes. But when
yeah,
you know that, okay, this is how this person is, don't worry, when we get into it, we'll be sharing some personal things,
yeah,
some of the things that I had to change about myself, some of the things my husband had to change, or some
yeah,
of the things I became so aware of. Oh, this thing is not right. I have to change it. This is not right about my husband, then my boyfriend. We were able to get to know, even before we got into the marriage, we were
yeah,
able to get to know some deep things, because the questions,
yeah.
they were thought provoking, and then because you are
The
standing, and
discussions,
then and the discussion, and our counselor, like
conversations.
our
Yeah,
facilitators, they were really good. So we were able to know deep things and all that.
yeah. Just to buttress on that point of there is no single formula for marriage. What my response is usually that it's just like life. A lot of people believe that there is no single one fit formula to live life. However, there are life coaches who teach about integrity, about honesty, about hard work. These are principles. Circumstances of each individual will be different
Yeah.
anyways, but there are basic principles that you just have to apply, to live a good life.
Yeah.
And however, you see, when people make the argument that, oh, but this person and that other person did not go through any life coach or did not go to and they became successful, this is my answer to such people. Don't make the exception the rule, and don't make the rule an exception. The
Yeah.
fact that there are few people who do not have proper training, yet their marriage are succeeding, does not mean that that is the rule. You go for proper training and know the basics, know the basic principles. It helps a lot. It's just like the example of you going to school. Of course, there are people that didn't go to school and eventually made it, but how about the generality of the people that didn't go to school and ended up in the gutter? So just to be safe, get training. So we have been blessed through premarital counseling system, and we will always recommend it any day at any time.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about 10 things, 10 things we learned from
Number 10, over 10, over
premarital
10.
counseling.
Yes, number 10, over 10. Okay, so ladies first, start.
Okay, so the first thing we learned, we learned about different perspective about marriage, and then importantly, we learned about what marriage is all about. So we're asking a question: is marriage a contract or a covenant? We're able to lay that foundation. Contract is when you say, oh, I'm not, anything happen like this, I'm packing because you already signed the contract, and if anything good, maybe one of the person break the contract, then you take your leave. You can, how do we call it?
Yeah,
You
you can terminate the
terminate
contract
the
and move on.
contract and move on.
Yeah,
But when you see like a covenant, it's something that is everlasting, something that both of you have decided that this thing, we're going to be in it together, and And when we say God is a covenant keeping God, that means you know He doesn't break His covenants. Doesn't break. So when you see it that way, you know that okay, this marriage, I'm here to stay. This is where I am. I belong. I have decided to spend the rest of my life with this person. So some of the things we learned about marriage. You know, that basic foundation, letting you know that this is what marriage is all about, not what the word is saying, what is the biblical standard, and then what the purpose of marriage, you know, about companionship, and you know, why you should get married. Sorry.
No.
Why some people get married, the wrong reasons for getting married, you know. One of the examples I remember then is, you know, saying you got pregnant out of wedlock, and you decided to get, because you don't want shame, and you get married to the person, and when you don't even know the person, it's just that, oh, you just got pregnant, and you're saying the situation
it's
you know, and then you now got married, and so it's a wrong reason. So we're able to, what is the right reason? Why are you getting married? You know, is it for companionship, for procreation, you know, multiplication, and all that?
Okay, so what I would like to point out is, okay, let me first of all give this first caveat that this video may be very, very long, and that is because we have seen and we've read and we've observed a lot of issues around young marriages, especially in this generation, and when we take them side by side to what we have learned and our foundation in this marriage, we see that this PMC, you know, has really done a lot. So talking about perspective in marriage, it is key to know what your spouse believes about marriage. You are getting married to this person. What does the person even believe? Now, there is another thing that the PMC helps you to do when it comes to perspective. It helps the person to say her perspective, you say your perspective, and then you begin to compare notes and say, this person I really want to get married to. This is what she believes about marriage. She believes it's for good times. This person believes it's for bad times. This person believes it's just to have a woman that cooks and cleans the house. This man believes, it's just a sex toy or something. You just need to lay the perspective, you know. And very, very key about this point is that even a marriage counselor can fail in marriage, because it is not your own knowledge as a person that makes marriage work. It is the combination of the knowledge. So even if you have 100% perfect perspective as a person, it does not matter. What matters is the coming together, the equilibrium, what you are able to agree with. So that is the very first thing, the foundation that the PMC does. It brings out the two perspective, and then tries to give you the right perspective about marriage, so that the two of you are
on the same page.
On the same page. Thank you. Okay, shall we go to number 2 now?
So that's it.
So the second point is the PMC will help you to identify your strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and strength. Just like I've just like I've written it here. You know, it's a very, very intensive program. Of course, let us not limit it to Family Worship Center Abuja alone. There are other PMC systems, Pre-Marital Counselling systems in other church. Also, a special shout out to Reverend Onomuti of St. Mary's Anglican Church in Ibadan. He did a very wonderful crash program course for us over the last week of our wedding preparation in Ibadan as well. So what I am saying is that it makes you identify the strengths that you have, the weaknesses that you have, the opportunities that this strength brings, the threats that this weakness brings. Okay, one of the key things that we discovered then was I go to bed early. My wife goes to bed late. Me, I wake up early.
Yeah.
She wakes up late.
Yeah. I'm not a morning person.
I have a very strong sense of time. Is ticking. My wife believes that the Lord will take control. So if we are supposed to, I remember the early days of our marriage, number one thing we used to fight then was on time, because my wife will get up slowly and we just be taking our time. We'll take our time.
What do you mean by slowly?
Slowly. No. She will take her time. No, you don't. No, you were not. You weren't preparing slowly. But eventually, I discovered that it was, as a single man, it could take me like 15-20 minutes. I'm ready. I will prepare myself and the car. The two of us will be ready in 20 minutes. My wife, we have to wake up much earlier, do our prayers and all of that. But what helped us, in combating that was because we were able to identify in different forms, in different ways. We identified those things, So identifying the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunity and threat was a big thing. Do you have anything you want to add on that point?
Yeah, that's it. I think as you mentioned everything.
Yeah, so point number 3 is now how to manage those things. How to now manage the strength, the opportunities, the weaknesses, and the threat. For instance, I'm an outgoing person. I easily meet people. And, I easily meet people. My wife is more reserved, but the thing is, she is better at sustaining those relationships, So it has helped us a lot, because me, I can easily meet people, and the next time, my wife laughs at me a lot because I have a lot of guys that I probably cannot really.
My G.
Yeah, they are my G now. They are my chairman.
And you react well, but what's the name of the person you just greeted? He doesn't know.
My wife doesn't meet people that easily. So when people come to her space, she knows every detail about them. So when I am talking with one of my guys and we are vibing and we are gisting and my wife says, "What's the name of that guy?" I just say, I don't know. I can't remember. My chairman, my man, my G, Chifo. So we were able to manage. We were able to manage our strength, our weaknesses, our opportunities because of point number 2, which is identifying. So we identify them, then we now strategically started discovering how to manage those strengths and weaknesses.
It's very important. One of the things that we're grateful for about this PMC, during our early marriage, what PMC will allow you to do is to discuss about all these things.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to have an idea of how it's going to work.
Yeah.
So when we got married and then we started living our lives together, some things are, you just find yourself, okay, why, like the timing issue that you spoke about, so too many things that we just,
I will want to go to bed at 11. My wife will be like, "Babe, are you going to sleep at 11 o'clock? Rara. No,
we might still have some fights, some conflict and issue around it. But we know you are not fighting blindly.
You understand.
You understand, okay, this person, and then it gives you, okay, this is how
This
this
is
person,
why this person is
and then you can always refer back to your community discussion about it. Okay, I told you this is who I am. So myself, in this our house, we don't, if my husband wakes up early, I'm not in a place of fear like, oh, my husband, I have to be,
I make breakfast in this house with my full chest.
He can go and make his breakfast while me I'm on my bed.
With my full chest.
When I wake
because if you leave breakfast to my wife, you people will eat breakfast as dinner. Then your dinner will be, in 2026. There's no.
So we were able to, manage all those things, and gradually we started getting balance. So PMC helped us to discuss about it, and then when you get into the marriage, you'll be able to,
you'll be able to manage it and adjust. I need to say something that, my wife has adjusted a lot more. My wife has adjusted a lot more. She wakes up a lot, earlier than it used to be in the days of her, when she was in Shango Day. My wife, and we're shooting this particular we're shooting this video late in the evening, this particular edition, and I am still wide awake. I believe I'm wide awake enough, though my wife had to tap me to wake up from the couch, wake up and collect your money, but that's it. Because once it's 9:30, 10:30 p.m., I'm shutting down. But my wife had been in the kitchen for like 3, 4, 5 hours, and yet she is still shooting videos before she eventually sleeps now. So PMC would help you to, number one, identify them, and also how do you now manage those things. Okay, I'm not going to get angry if after this video I go to bed and she's not yet in bed, because I understand what is happening. You're not, like my wife said, you're not just living blindly, you're not fighting blindly, you know exactly what is happening. All right. Yeah, so that's point number 3. We're going to number 10. We're going to be discussing, you need to watch this video, the other edition, because we're going to be discussing about expectations, about extended family. We're going to be discussing sex. Let them see my face. Sex. Yes. How PMC helped us with sex. So the 4th point is
communication. We're able to learn that the lifeline of almost every relationship is communication, and now you can communicate effectively. One of the things I learned that is still with me up to today is that it's your responsibility to make sure that your partner, your spouse understand what you're communicating.
Rema, that thing you just said is deep. So let me help them understand. See, and this is something very, very key. A lot of people say whatever they want to say, and then put the responsibility on the other person to understand. You see, PMC changed the dynamic. If my wife does not understand me, she is not the problem. I am the problem. I must find different ways. If I have tried 1,000 ways, I have to develop 1,001 ways to communicate it in action, in words, in whatever form, until she understands it. So the responsibility is on me to express what I want to say in such a way that she will understand. It is not on her. So you don't just okay, let me give an instance. You don't just wake up in the morning and you close your you are not talking, you are not doing anything, and you expect the person to figure out what is happening. No.
When you have to. God.
They are not Holy Spirit.
Mind reader.
They are not mind reader. They are not magicians. And when you say can't you understand? No, the person cannot understand. It is actually on you to continue to refine and to have the patient to explain over and again to the, so that thing about communication, it helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, and with our home mentor, Mr. and Mrs. Afi, we had 3 families, and then I would never forget one of the sessions with them. The 3 ladies were asked, including my wife, that do the guys shout when communicating, and all the 3 ladies said, yeah. When they asked the 2 other ladies, and they were like, yes, the guys shout when they are talking. When it came to my wife, me, I was like, with my full chest, me, I don't shout. Me, like this, I don't shout. My wife said, yes, so yes, that he shouts. I was like,
Yeah.
It was after that session that I now, there was a lot of consciousness on it, and it's been something I've worked hard on. I still do, once in a while, but the major key is that when a thing happens, immediately it happens, there is something that strikes in you and say, no.
Yeah,
No,
it's
no.
not, yeah,
Whenever she says, babe, you are shouting, the thing just calms down in me, like, oh, okay. So communication, it was a week 5 or so in the model, was a very, very transforming thing,
Yeah.
and we can't thank God
Yeah.
enough.
Another point
for it.
is this assumption, like you don't, one of the things that we learned, that assumption is the lowest form of
Intelligence, yeah.
So you don't assume.
So when you're communicating, you don't
just
assume.
and then assumption, if you look at so many marriages today, assumption has killed a lot of things, has spoiled a lot of things. People assume this. Face the matter, put it on the table. No, you should, whatever the person, you should be able to call. And that was the whole essence of that PMC is communication, because there were a lot of topics that we can discuss. So if we can discuss about deep things, there's nothing that should come into marriage that you cannot put on the table and say, let's talk about these things. Let's talk about, we learned on transparency, openness. Openness. Be vulnerable enough to know this is your spouse. This is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. So you should be able to talk.
Yeah.
When you see marriages that say, the guy is gentle, doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to. When you are with your spouse, this is your dead, this is your marriage together, this is you. You should be yourself.
Your partner is you.
And then marriage without relation, like without communication, it's really hard. It's really hard. There will be a lot of things that you'll be putting under the carpet.
Yeah.
You'll not be able to put issues down and discuss it. And then, like my husband used to say, that form of communication, when you are discussing, or maybe there's an issue, and then my husband would say, face the issue and not the person. So most of the time, some of our communication is just okay, like maybe my husband did something that maybe let me look for an example. Maybe I asked him to help me with something,
there's a way
and
you
he
can
didn't do it, and I just say, oh, you don't used to help me.
Yeah.
Now I have made it like it's the person, it doesn't help me. But instead of me facing the issue at that time, that I need you to help me do this thing at this particular time, why did you do it? Face the issue and not put the person and just with the situation and just make that person, the whole situation about the person. Face the issue. So with communication, we're able to know that, identify getting separating the person from the issue.
Yeah. Let me see if I can clarify the example. Okay. For instance, if I come back tired from work and my wife has not made food for me. Instead of saying, you this woman, you did not cook food, and you are such a terrible person, and you did not make food. Now that is attacking the person. The real issue is, I am back from work and hungry and tired. So instead of saying, you didn't make food, you did not this, you are that, you just say, I am disappointed that there is no food for me when I came back from work. I was really tired, I needed to eat, and there was no food. So the food, you see that the food is the center of the conversation. The food, absence of the food is what you are putting as the issue. You are not pointing at the person directly. So that is something that can be learned and can be practiced over time. It makes the person accept correction faster. All right. So I think this is where we would stop, and then we'll continue on 6 other things in the next video. We're going to be talking about hunger and how to manage hunger in your marriage. What PMC taught us. We'll talk about money and finance. We'll talk about sex. We should still talk about sex.
Definitely.
This is godly marriage.
Yes.
Me, everybody knows that me, I am a child of God.
All right. Okay. We'll see you in the next video.
Please put your comments. Your please like,
share with friends.
Subscribe,
we want this to reach out to you. You don't know the marriage you might be saving.
Please share this video. Share this video as much as possible, and we would like to hear from you as well.
And then subscribe. Hit that red button, please. Thank you.
All right. Sure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Some of them